Oh no, another Aventus video. Let's do this. Right, Aventus. Now, as we all know, there's been a million videos on it. It's all about the batches. It's all about the batches. So, my first experience with Aventus was way back in 2015. I smelt on some guy. I was friendly enough with a bloke to say, "That's really nice. What are you wearing?" I wasn't really into fragrances at the time, but there's something about that, and I thought, wow, I've got to ask him. And he said, "Oh, it's hideously expensive, mate. You know, don't go near it. I get a decant of some bloke up the gym, and it's called Aventus." So I thought, okay, how much can it be? 40, 50 quid? 60 quid? £235 for 125 ml. And I thought, my goodness me. Anyway, I thought, just pull the trigger, do it. Why not? Treat yourself. Bought myself one. Man, this stuff it was epic. I'd never smelled anything like it. It took me into the fragrance world from somebody who wasn't into fragrances at all, and I just couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe how good this was. I was at a point in my life when I was going out a lot more. And this stuff will get you noticed. There's no two ways about it. Even a bang average fella like me, this is going to get you noticed. And I thought, this is great. I sprayed that bottle, sprayed through it in 3 months. 3 months. And that bottle was a 15x21. I've still got the empty bottle upstairs. And a 15x21 is a beast. Well, for me, it's a legend batch. It's a batch that I then spent the next, I've given up now looking, sort of. I spent the next 6 years hunting that batch down, because when that one had run out, I thought, that's okay. Aftershave's aftershave. I'll buy another one. And this time I got for the 250ml. That was a 120ml bottle. And I thought, I love it so much. And I think the 250ml was something like, it was around the sort of £400 mark. And I bought it, and it came in a sort of bottle, splash bottle. And it just didn't quite smell the same. It didn't quite smell the same. My girlfriend at the time, she said, it's not quite the same as the other one. That's nice, but it's not quite the same. And I thought, well, why can that be then? And then I looked online, went on to Base Notes, read about the batches. I then got in contact with Creeks, that's where I used to buy it from. And I said, can you send me an X21? And they said, we don't send out batches. You just get what you get. There's no difference between them. They're all the same, blah, blah, blah. And I thought, oh, well, maybe they're right. I had other things to do. You can't let these things take over your life. Shouldn't let these things take over your life. And I just cracked on with the 250ml, and then I bought another bottle. Must have been 2 years later that I'd calmed down on it a bit then, because I think because it wasn't so great, I didn't use it as much. And I think the next bottle I bought was a 2019, and that was a 2019 N01, and that was pleasant. But again, this stuff was it just was even less so than before. Even the 17 N01 that I bought with the I think it was a 17 N01 in the bottle, the splash bottle, and this was even less. It was nice. It was pleasant, very appley actually. It gave me a little sense of apple on the top, and I thought, why don't I just buy I'll go on the hunt, go down that rabbit hole. What harm can it do? Well, frig me. It's a minefield. Bakery, and lies, and just the crazy money people will spend. Crazy money to get their hands on what they consider their legend batch, or what the community would consider legend batches. So this, at the end of the day, I won't bore you with everything I've done, but I did look. I joined Facebook clubs. I made a couple of really good contacts. One of them who scored me this beauty here, which is a no, sorry, that one, the Y11, 15Y11, which is the closest thing I've ever found to my X21. Community would even tell you this may be better, but this thing is rocket fuel. It's rocket fuel. It is kept in a very cool, dark place. It's not what all my other fragrances are. I treasure this. I treasure it. I'm 47 years old and I treasure a fragrance. But yeah, there you go. So, but this, then once I realised that, you know, people are paying 200-300 quid for 30 mils that are in a bottle that you know, that could well be a fake because you're going down the eBay road. I thought, well, there's got to be another way, and I like it as I want it as a daily driver, but there ain't no way I'm spraying that to go to work. So I thought, well, what about these alternatives? And that's the point of the video. I'll trim this down if I've waffled too long. You know, the dupes, or the, you know, the outright copies, if you like. You know, there's the market for that's getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And so I have been down this rabbit hole. I have done all the dupes. This is a few. There are others. But I thought I would just tell you guys, before you go down that road, if you're going to go down that rabbit hole, if you're going to go start looking for Aventus, if you're annoyed paying £400 for the 100 mil that Creed, who are now owned by BlackRock, Murky Waters there, nearly. And yeah, don't, you know, if you don't want to pay that money, and don't get me wrong, it's still a fantastic fragrance. A friend of mine bought one about a year ago, so that was when BlackRock had it, and you know what, it's okay, it's good stuff. Is it worth 400 quid? No, nowhere near. It is living off its reputation now. If it came out today, it would be you buy it if it was a reasonable price, but it ain't nowhere near these. Just for comparison, this is, it said, is a 15Y11. This is a 17N01, which again I managed to pick up through a group I was in, and this is beautiful. This is beautiful, very different, very pineapple-y. This, I would say, comes off a lot more on the sort of, the pineapple's there, but it's a lot more blackcurrant to it, a bit more peppery, but both of them last. I mean, this will last. I will spray. I don't hold fragrance well. My wife, she 2 squirts and it will last her a month. You know, she's got that sort of skin, it just radiates off her. Me, it just doesn't. I'm average at best. I moisturise, it doesn't make any difference. I'm actually 107, so moisturiser works. And it's it just doesn't last on me very well at all. You know, I do all the particular places, but this, even this will last on me. You know, I will wear it if I put it on in the morning, 4 or 5 sprays. I will smell this if I put it in here, a spray each in there, which seems to work for me. I mean, I will spray it the next morning when I wake up. You know, this is good stuff. Faintly, obviously a skin scent by then, and this thing will project like a beast. It's obviously they can't make it like that anymore because they banned certain chemicals and certain substances that were made. I think of birch was one they banned, tar was one they banned. They're carcinogenic. There's others as well. I think as the years go by, there's more stuff gets banned. For safety reasons of the workers, I suppose, or possibly people, the wearers. That's generally why, you know, put too much hate on Creed here, because they are only working with what they can work with. But that's why you'll never see stuff like this again. You will just never see stuff like this again unless someone wants to make it. You know, you want to employ someone who's a perfumery to buy that stuff and make it. I mean, let's not go down that road. That's just not going to happen. Anywho, right. So let's go to the. So these are aces. These are 10 out of 10s. These are superstars. Okay, for very different reasons, but not very different reasons. But they both go a different way. But I'm covered. Don't need to buy any more. And I'm sure as shit ain't paying £1,000 for something that someone's found in the back of their drawer. So. Anyway, so let's go on to the dupes, or the clones. whatever you want to copy it. Now these are varying in their, I would say, their degrees of success when it comes to mimicking the king. You know, and let's be honest, it's the king. It's not known as the king for nothing. It is the king men's fragrance. And it wouldn't, these batches, the 15, 16, 17 and pre will never be beaten, in my opinion, you know, for whatever that counts. So, but let's see what gets closest. So these are your classic ones. This was the Club de Nuit de Parfum, Intense Man. I never got the I think the first one was a Toilette, was it? I never got that one. It was very hard to get in the UK. So I didn't bother. Anyway, this is good. This is good. It's good. Let's do the out of 10 rating. You know, it's a little bit harsh on the. It's a little bit harsh when you first spray it, but it will last and it will give you. It will get you there. Let's just say you've got a friend who doesn't really know much about fragrances. If you wore, say, this one day, and this, and then this the day after, you're going to get, they would know it's different, but they would think, yeah, I suppose they're going to think it's different. So it's different, but you're still good. It's pleasurable. It's close. Someone who didn't know anything about it might think you're wearing the same thing. Someone who knew it had a little bit of interest in fragrances would know it was different, but they'd say, wow, that's pretty good. It's pretty good. It lasts pretty well. I've got a 200ml bottle, which I'll be handing down to my grandchildren, I should think, because it's pretty good. So that's if they'd want it. It's good. Harsh opening, dry down is similar to I would say a black curranty batch, more this than that. So yeah, you've got that one's pretty good. This one, this was got big rave reviews. The Supremacy, not only Intense by Afnan, and this is more pineapple-y, I would say. This is definitely I'm going to give it it's definitely got the more pineapple, and it's a good performer. I find this bounces off my skin a little bit better than this. That could just be me, but it gives you that more pineapple. I would say it's that more pineapple. So again, closer to that, but again, it's not quite as smooth as that. I mean, how would it be? But it's if Aventus didn't exist, this came out, I would say this would be very popular because in its own right, it's good. Some people say it's more like Hassavat, which is one I did have a sample of. I didn't particularly like Hassavat. I did get a little decant of that. I didn't particularly like Hassavat. I can't really remember. I thought it was a bit harsh. Although again, everyone's nose is different. But this to me is a good Aventus clone. I would say if you were going to have one of these two, I would say that's a daily driver at work. I mean, it's 200ml for about 80 pence. I mean, how can you go wrong? So it was about 40 quid, I think for the 200ml. Anyway, so I mean, this is a lot. This is a bit dearer. This is around that sort of 40 quid mark, something like that. 40, 50 quid for 100ml. But if you wore that, if I walk past a person that don't know too much about fragrances, they would say, you smell nice, you know, that's good. Oh yeah, you wore that the other day. If I'd have worn that, it's close-ish. So I would say if this was a 6, that's a 7. Okay, let's move on. Let's stick with the let's go back to Club de Nuit. Now this is their limited edition parfum. Now this is really good. This is really good. What Amarth have done is they've obviously, as everybody knows, they've smoothed that off. They've done some things to make it to take that sort of rough ass edge off at the front, and it is rough on the front edge, but this is good. This works. They've taken that smoothness off. It gives more. I find you get that sort of initial pineapple-y burst. It dries down into a very woodsy, peppery, sweet wood, sweet pepper that goes deeper the longer you wear it, and it does work really, really, really well. They definitely have. Sometimes they, like Amarth or companies will bring them out. They'll bring out intense or limited, and it's just like a slightly stronger version of. It's just the parfum content will go up, or elixirs or whatever they're called, intenses. versions. And but no, they've definitely worked on it, and this is really nice. This is nice. It's worth the extra. I think I paid 60 quid, 65 quid for this for 100ml. I like the bottles. I like the Amarth range. I may well do another video, as I have got some more creeds that Amarth have copied or been influenced by. And yeah, but this is good. So I'm going to start ranking these in the order of how good. So good on the left will be the closest, and on the right will be the weakest. So at the minute, and this will be an ever-changing circle. So at the minute I would go that, I would then go this, and at the minute I would then go that bad boy, but I'll put that right there because I want to run over them. Okay, so at the minute, fantastic, very close. I'd give that an 8. I would give that an 8 out of 10 compared to, say, this or this. Really, it's really good, okay, not just good, it's really good. You know, these two are good, that's good, that's borderline good, that's really good. Anyway, right, so I have had other clones. For me, they didn't work at all. I didn't like them, bought them, flogged them, you know, I wasn't interested. So let's move on to these three. Now this is Aventus by Al Haramain. Al Haramain are a really good company. I'm not sponsored by anybody, as you can see, because this is just all ad hoc. But they are. I've got a couple of Al Haramains. I don't like owning a dupe if I don't own the original thing, because I think if I've got the dupe, I can save money by using the dupe, like for day stuff, like work or whatever, and I've got the original at home. That's just me. If somebody said, look, I'm never going to go and spend 200, 300 quid on a bottle of fragrance, but I'll buy the dupe, fair play to you. I don't blame you. In fact, that's probably a more sensible way of doing it. But me personally, I will always own the original and then buy a dupe. So, and Al Haramain do make some good ones. Again, I'll probably do another video because I've done some Baccarat Rouge and I've done some, yeah, just some other ones. So, but yeah, we'll come back to that. But anyway, Aventus, it's all right. It's all right. I'm gonna give it a little spray. Myself. It's all right. You know, it's. I would say it's here, but it doesn't last as long as here as this one. The Intense Man Parfum. Again, it's got the pineapple. It's definitely got. I would say it stays pineapple. It doesn't have definitely doesn't have the depth of these. Forget even talking about them compared to this. But if I was to say this, when you could tell the top, the mid, and the base. You know, like I said, you've got the top, you've got the pineapple, then you get the sort of sweet peppers, and you've got the birch, you've got the wood. So you go through. You go through the top, middle, not. This seems to just, I would say, pineapple, and then I suppose it does go down to a wood, but it's not complicated. If you told me there were 3 notes in it, I'd believe you. I'm sure there are more, but it's pleasing. If you were a younger guy and someone bought you that and you weren't really into fragrances and you sprayed that on, you're going to get, you're going to get a good time out of it. As good a time as you can have with fragrance, but you're going to smell nice. You're going to get attention from ladies with it, like you would do all of these, because they're all basically copying something which is crowd pleasing. So yeah, it's good, but it's not great. It's definitely more, I would say, more pineapple, and I would say more of a younger person's one, because it haven't got that depth. It doesn't ever hit the deeper wood that say that one and that one do. This one does a sweet deep wood. It's really good. So yeah, it's okay. I mean, I would definitely put that fourth at the minute. Definitely put that. Ooh, definitely put that fourth. Yeah, don't pick that one up by the way. Anywho, so okay, so moving on to these two. So now you've got Mont Blanc Explorer. You've got the name of it then. This is decent. This is decent stuff. This is decent stuff. It starts off with a sort of almost like a, I would say, more of a sort of blackcurranty pineapple on. I know what this. I don't have to spray this again. 'Cause I sprayed it the other day. It starts off with a blackcurranty pineapple, then it goes down to a mid. You can definitely get the birch. You definitely get the woods in there. It performs really well. I would say it's probably. I would say out all these four here, this is probably the most well-rounded. It's, you can tell, so maybe say the quality of oils and ingredients in there. This has probably got the best quality. I mean, Mont Blanc, they're decent anyway. You know, they're a decent perfumery, and so the quality's there. But even though the quality's there, it's not the closest even out of these four to these. It's not the closest. It's almost kind of does its own thing a little bit, but the quality's there. It's a good scent. It's sort of like a version of that, if you like, but further away than these are trying to be outright. Well, especially these three are trying to copy. Amar maybe more Hassavat, but this is probably not trying to copy, but it's been inspired by and then taken its own route, which I really like about it actually, and it's a really good scent. And just on a side note, they do the best deodorant stick to go with that Explorer deodorant stick. Now I bought Creed soap, I bought Creed moisturizer, so I bought a couple of Creed bits, and their deodorant stick, they did do, I think they discontinued it, but it was like something ferocious money, you know, so it was crazy. So but their deodorant stick, Mont Blanc deodorant stick, it's about, I think you can get it for about 13 quid. I've actually got a recurring monthly subscription with Amazon. It is freaking gorgeous. It's Aventus. It's just, if someone put a Creed Aventus thing on it and they said, look what they've just done, they could charge 60-70 quid for it. I mean, I wouldn't buy it because it's too much money. I might buy one, but it is really good. And whenever you're wearing Aventus, whichever one of these you wore, you would wear that Mont Blanc Explorer deodorant stick, because it boosts and it stays there. Or when I say boost, it promotes the smell. It's always there because it's under your pits. It's always getting warm, and it just seems to always be there, and it's lovely, really beautiful. Anyway, so yeah, so in order of greatness and closest to, we've still got this at the top, because it's the mimics those two, mimics it the best. This again, it's a really nice formulation. It's a really nice formulation. It might be more Hassavat, but whatever, it does get closer to those two than these two here. This is really good. You can spray this on work, great. You're going to smell good in the office or whatever you're doing. This, I would say, younger guy scent, evening. Again, I didn't know if I said about this, but it doesn't last as long. That lasts, I'm going to get, let's just recoup here, I'm going to get 8+ hours on that, 4 hours good projection. This, 8+ hours on that, 4 hours good projection. They project well. This, again, this will last 8 hours and you get 4+, yeah, easy 4+ projection on that for me. And then, but this one, I would say 6 hours, 2 hours projection. But you can, it's cheap, you know what I mean? You can go heavy on the spray. You go 15 sprays on it. I mean, I normally do 6 to 7. You did 15 sprays. It's going to project like a bee. If you walked in a nightclub, you know, that's great. You know, who cares what you smell like after 4 hours in a nightclub? But anyway, so yeah, so this one, yeah, you're going to get, I would say, a good 8 hours out of this. I would get, this is me personally. Like I said, my wife, you know, she put it on today and it lasted for a year. And it projects really nicely. It has got a really nice scent trail on this. So again, yeah, probably 4 hours projection overall. Obviously, the first 2 hours of projection, I would say, are when it's further than arm's length. The second 2 hours, it brings itself closer, but it's still there, and they're very similar. They're all very similar, apart from that one, which does lose its projection noticeably earlier. So again, this, I'm going to now pop this in here. So we're going to go 3. There we go. We're getting there. I'm going to fall off into the table here. Right, so that's my order there. Now we come to this one, which I didn't actually come up on until not that long ago. Someone said, I saw a video come up and about Cedra Boise, and then I looked at it on a few forums, and everyone said this is the stuff you want. This is close to Aventus, or an Aventus type. Now I'll see other reviews, and they'll say that isn't Aventus, but it's just really nice, and it's goes the same way as Aventus, but it does its own thing, maybe sort of more like the Mont Blanc. And do you know what? This stuff is really good. Now let's get it out of the way straight off the bat. It is not mimicking those at all. Whereas these all mimic, when I say all, if maybe, it's arguable. Some people say that mimics Aventus, some people say Hasselblad, and that will go its own way to a degree. But these all are obviously heavily influenced by that. I don't think this is influenced by that at all. Now Mancera, which I do actually own a couple of Manceras now, after buying this, I was really impressed. I think for the price, the quality. Now this juice is a cut above. This is a cut above all of these. This smells like money. This smells like it's had a lot of work put into it. Again, batch variations, of course. What is it with perfume houses? They bring something out, the first few, for the first 6 months, they're great. Then you buy anything into the second, third year, it's never the same as the first sort of 6 months batches that came out. Anyway, let's not go down that. But yeah, again, batch issues on this. Now, everyone said you want to find a screw cap one, which I did because they're magnetic normally. But even this screw cap one was a 2022, I think. But boy, this is lovely. This is lovely. Now they do say it's been reformulated since the new one came out, which is Cedra Boise Intense, which I actually also own. I bought that after this, and they said, well, whoever they are, said they weakened this down because to promote the intense version. I don't know if I quite get that, but anyway, even though this isn't a pre-formulation by what people are saying, this I think it was about 2019, 2020 they reformulated it. I couldn't find that bottle. I went for 2022, and do you know what? This performs really well. Now this, when you spray this, man, this stuff. Wow, even on the, I'm wearing it today anyway, so when you spray it, compared to these, you get this real sweet but rich smelling. I'm trying to talk as I smell it, but it's like a rich, sweet smelling. I'm gonna say it's citrus, not so much pineapple, though there's a bit of pineapple in there. Bergamot, definitely. I mean, these are obviously all sort of bergamot based, but you get that bergamot, but it's mixed with, rather than a pepper, it's just a rich, creamy, vanilla-y citrus. It's hard to explain. You wouldn't put vanilla and citrus together. Well, you wouldn't eat it if it was a dessert, but I suppose you would. That's apple pie and custard. Anyway, but yeah, so, but this is definitely a rich, creamy citrus that smells like money. This stuff, it smells divine. I think if my friend who came into the shop was wearing this, and like I said, I'd never been inclined to ever ask anybody before what they're wearing, because I just wasn't into fragrances. He'd be wearing this instead of this, I think I would have still asked him what he was wearing. That's how good that is. And that's what inspired me to then go on and buy the Intense version, which is divine. If this is, it's too easy to say. I know people are going to say it all the time. If this isn't, if this for me is a 9 out of 10, that's a 10 out of 10. But you know what? It just simply is. It simply is. I've got the Intense one upstairs. I didn't bring it down because it's not. This isn't a review for Cedric Boise, but it's let's go back to, as wonderful as that is, this is its own thing. This is its own thing. So as these, let's just take the Hasselblad out for the minute, and let's just say it is an Aventus, because it's divides the community. So let's just say these all are influenced by, so that tries to copy it, that tries to copy it, that tries to copy it. Let's just say that does try and copy it because it's heavily inspired by. So those four have just flat out copies. That is influenced. So these are copies. That's influenced by. This basically doesn't even know Aventus exists, and it just says, I'm going to make. And Sarah turned around and said, let's make a really nice summer, vanilla-y, sweet, citrus, woody fragrance, without even going anywhere near spraying this to see, oh, let's get it close. This is its own thing, and it's all the better for it. Now, I think what I would say is, to round this up, I would say, if you're looking for an Aventus and you want one of these Aventuses, then it's gone. That time's passed. You know, it's, well, they got 10-year shelf life, 2015, 2 years to go. It will last longer than that. I know it will. You know, you can pick stuff up that's 20 years old and it's great. All about how you keep it. So, but that really, unless you're going to spend crazy money and then still risk being duped or had over. I mean, these, you can open them bottles up. You can open any bottle up. So I would advise just forget. It's gone. And if it's gone, no one else is going to wear it. Why should you give a shit? So don't worry about it. But if you're looking for, so Aventus clones, I think are going to go down because they're not, Aventus is, the Aventus you're getting today isn't going to have anywhere near, because this is all going to go, Aventus today isn't going to have anywhere near the following that Aventus of yesterday had. So as these fragrances, as Aventus drops down in popularity, there will be no need for manufacturers like Armaf or Haramain and people like that to make clones, because they're just not going to sell very well. So I wouldn't bother. I wouldn't worry too much. I think if you were on an absolute budget, you wanted a work scent, go to work, spray it, smell good, confident in the office, on the cheapest amount of money possible, this bad boy is going to get you there. Okay? This is going to get you there. It's 200 mils of it, daily driver. You know, people are going to think you smell good, because you will smell good in 10 minutes, because let it dry down before you leave the house. Although it's better than the other one, the first one that came out. But yes, that's good. If you want to spend a little bit more money, then go for one of these three. You know, go for one of these three. Either one of these is going to do you good. If you definitely want the best Aventus experience, that one. If you want something that's like Aventus, if you love your pineapple, go for that, because it would be Hasselblad or Aventus. Or that one if you want to go a slightly different way. So budget, that's your budget option. These, whichever one of these three, no, hang on a minute. So that's your budget option. That's the best option, but it's 60 quid. Okay, if you want to go another way, Aventus Light, go for those two. If you're young and you want to use it for clubbing, and so you can go heavy on the sprays, go for that one. But if you just want a nice, really nice, doesn't cover it, a great summer fragrance that is gonna make you smell like money, if you want to smell like money, and get you noticed for the right reasons, then go for this. I would reach for, if I was going out for a night, and it was a really, let's say it's a really posh do, or wear a suit, it's a wedding or whatever, right? And I went to the shelf, and one of my options is going to be this. It's going to be Intense. It's going to be this or this. It would, my absolute go-to, if it was a pucker evening, a really good nice, expensive evening is that. But I tell you what, I would think about this, or the intense version of it, which I probably will do another video on. So yeah, that's it really. I mean, I would say, so Creed Aventus batch finding, forget it. You're going to get your fingers burnt. I did more than once. Like I said, to get to this level here has cost me, I would say, you know, you could spend, I could have spent £1,000, let's just say that, but my wife might watch it, so let's say a few £100. But it's got me there, and you know, so what? So what? But yeah, so I wouldn't go too mad on the Aventus batch finding. You get your fingers burnt. Like I said, budget that. If you can go a bit deeper on your pocket, go for that. Get two and spray it, and you'll love it. If you're a young guy, spray that one. You know, it's going to get you noticed in the club. These two are really fine additions, but you will only need one of these four. I mean, they're close enough. You know, you could go this one, like I said, for office. You could go this one if you want to be a bit more better up in the office. You could argue you could have that or that, but they're very, very close. But the best version of Aventus is that, I would say, and don't even think of this as an Aventus clone. Think of it as its own thing, and you'll be very happy with that. Well, I hope that's okay. And like I said, I will do another video. I don't do any of this for. There will be no flashy music or zone-ins. I'm just a guy who likes fragrance, men's fragrance, and if I can bring some advice or stop you making any mistakes, I'll do it honestly, because at the end of the day, I've got no axe to grind, I've got no money to earn out of it. Anyway, my name's Chris. Thanks for watching.